As resellers, almost every single time we go to an estate sale or a thrift store, we see bookshelves full of books, like this one right here, or this one right here. And believe it or not, there is a lot of money to be made reselling the books on these shelves that a lot of people just simply overlook. In order to make money though, you have to go about and scan books individually. And I'm here to make a video to give y'all a rough guideline as to what books to scan first whenever you are at a thrift store or a estate sale, so that way you won't spend so much time scanning stuff that won't make you any money. So that way, instead of if you're looking at bookshelves like this or like this, you can go into a room like this right here at an estate sale or at a larger thrift store and be able to scan books that will allow you to earn the highest profit without wasting a lot of time. So scanning book is something that I kind of liken to mining for gold, right? With gold, you have little specks of gold that you're trying to get out of a whole bunch of dirt. And sometimes you have dirt that has a bunch of gold in it. Other times you have dirt with nothing, and I'm going to make a video that will help you kind of find the better dirt per se that will have the best books that you can find to resell. Whenever I'm approaching a room like this one right here, for example, the first thing I would really focus on would be just hardcover books in general as opposed to paperbacks. Now, the reason why is because a hardcover book, the hardcover makes it to where the book stays in a much nicer condition than with a paperback. Because with a paperback, you pick it up, you set it down, even you opening it and closing it, it can bend it out. But so it is much easier to find a lightly used hardback that is in brand new or like new condition, whereas even a lightly used paperback, just because of being pulled off and on the shelf once or twice, or being opened up wide just once, can mess up the condition and make it to where you can't sell it in like new or new condition anymore. And yes, you do find books that are in like new or new condition at these places. Keep in mind, a lot of times books are given as gifts. They're purchased and they're just never read, or they're read once or twice. With this being said, they're used so lightly that they are in new condition. They're in the kind of condition that you would see like if someone went to Barnes & Nobles and they picked a book off the shelf and they read it for a couple minutes and they put it back on the shelf. So you do see books in that kind of condition, so keep that in mind, that yes, you can sell books in like new condition from these sources. As far as category is concerned, right, you go to like half-price books, the clearance section, it's separated by category, fiction or non-fiction. Personally, I have had better luck with non-fiction books as a whole. By the way, a quick note about hardcover books. Hardcover books in general tend to sell for more money than the softcover books. But with that being said, as far as back to the fiction or non-fiction point, personally, I have had better luck with non-fiction book. As a whole, personally, I have had the best luck with books in the categories and topics. For some reason, this is what I found personally, books about religion, self-help, and business, or improving yourself as a business, or just anything business related like leadership, tends to sell for pretty good money. Technology sometimes does too, even especially if it's more innovative technology, and war. It's usually fiction books about war as opposed to non-fiction books, but fiction books about war tend to sell pretty well. If you're scanning by category, those are some general things to look out for, and there's definitely categories that I would personally scan first, that I feel that I would find the most books to resell then. That being said though, other than that, keep in mind that category-wise, there really isn't much rhyme or reason between why one category of book with one topic might sell for more or less than another category of book for another topic, other than people are more interested in it and competition. But knowing how much interest someone has in the book and how much competition is out there is really difficult to understand until you get to the rankings after you scan it and the price of it. So for an example, here is the top 100 selling books, the best 100 ranked books on Amazon right now. I mean, back to school season just kind of started, so there's more kids books I feel like, which is driving that. But here you can see, Rich Dad Poor Dad right here. Thank You for Your Service by Mr. Beast and Strengths Finder 2.0 and Good Night Moon, right? 45 through 48, completely different books that are all ranked one after the next within the top 100. Here you can see some more kid books. and just some various books across different categories. So having said there isn't a lot of rhyme or reason. Personally, I feel like it's also important to have an idea of also what just generally not to scan. And so with that being said, just because a book isn't in the category that I talked about, keep in mind that there are books from every single category that sells for decent money and under any topic. And a lot of times you'll find books that will honestly completely surprise you. It's never a bad idea to scan everything. But if you have a lot of books and a limited amount of time, this is the tips that I gave should be helpful. Like a good example of a miscellaneous book that sells for money that's kind of unexpected that I found about a week ago. This one right here, Dick Gregory's Natural Diet for Folks Who Eat Cooking with Mother Nature right here. This is something that I found. I don't have it listed on Amazon just because I felt that because the fees tend to be a little bit less on eBay. So personally, I just have it listed on eBay, and that's something that I personally try to do for higher dollar books because the fees just tend to be a little bit less. But this is a book. It is a small paperback from the 1970s that just tends to sell for great money on Amazon and eBay. That being said, though, it is important to keep in mind that there really are some categories that are going to be pretty slim pickings. One great category of items is encyclopedias. Now, if you have like a super old encyclopedia, like from the 20s or the teens or something like that, those might sell. But like encyclopedias from the 70s or 80s when everybody had encyclopedias that are honestly, keep in mind there's a fine line between outdated and useless and vintage and interesting. Encyclopedias from the 70s and 80s and that kind of era don't really tend to sell for decent money. Also, a lot of times you'll see books like this where it's like those little they're older books that are from a few decades ago, but they have a very small width and they're kind of thick, but were originally pretty cheap, like $3 to $5, something like that. Personally, I haven't really found much anything in those at all, and I found maybe one book from a large lot of books that was worth selling, but most of the time, these kinds of books just really aren't worth much of anything at all. And typically they are made pretty cheaply, so they don't tend to be in very good condition at all either. And one last category of items it's still worth definitely worth selling, but keep in mind and keep a lookout for is textbooks. Now, textbooks are very, very expensive, especially new ones from when you're a college student. I mean, as a college student, I paid about $500 for textbooks this past semester. But keep in mind that the only reason why a student will buy a textbook is if the professor requires it. So, that being said, newer editions of textbooks are worth a good bit. They can be easily worth $50, $60, $70, $80, sometimes $200, $300 for a new textbook. But older editions aren't required as much, and because oftentimes professors require that you do homework out of the textbook, or read specific chapters, or have the access code, old editions of textbooks, even if they're just a few years old, are not as useful. So keep that in mind when sourcing textbooks. But yeah, that's definitely kind of the approach that I would take whenever I'm looking to go scan books. I hope that y'all found this to be useful, and please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. Have a great day.